All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Adi Owofisayo. I head up YouTube content partnerships in sub-Saharan Africa, and I am very excited for the final session of Motivation Monday today. What do they say? We saved the best for the last, huh? So yeah, very excited to be here at our World Festival. Hashtag our World Festival. Looking forward to hearing from all of you on social. So don't forget to tag at amaka.studios. And again, there is a giveaway. You've probably heard of it throughout the day, that there is a second giveaway. There's an iPad. There's some products from Black and African owned brands. So you guys want to make sure to look out for that. The summit is brought to you by Vista Bank. Motivation Monday is graciously sponsored by Oakwood Green. And of course, this YouTube session, it's courtesy of YouTube Black, which is a movement that started in the US by some of the most influential Black creators on YouTube. Like I said, I'm Addie. I'm dialing in from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm based in London, but I've been in Lagos for the past couple of months due to lockdown. Love it. Better weather. So it's great to be here. And again, Amaka Studio is a multimedia platform for women and non-binary people from Africa and across the diaspora. So not just Black women. It's women, it's Black and brown, it's African women from the diaspora. So really excited to be here with the community today. You're going to be hearing from some of our African creators and our African diaspora creators in the UK. So very excited for you guys to hear from them today. You will be seeing them shortly on the screen. And it's one of them's birthday, Naledi's birthday. So wherever you are, say happy birthday to Naledi. Happy birthday. Again, so please, for those of you watching, if you want to join the YouTube Black community, don't forget to scan the QR code that's going to come up on your screen. We'll add you to the YouTube Black community and you get access to exclusive news and events and programming from us. So let's start the session today. And we're going to start from hearing from our creators. So maybe we'll start alphabetically. We'll start with Dr. Amina, who's going to introduce herself and tell us, how did you get here?
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here today. I think it's such an amazing festival and such an amazing show that's being put on over this weekend. So my name's Amina, like Adi just said, and I'm also known as Dr. Amina Yonis on the YouTube platform. So where do I begin? I started blogging on a website blog anonymously when travel blogging was in, but I was too afraid to show my face. And then I decided, you know what, I'm watching all these bloggers and vloggers online. I want to do it too. So then I picked up a camera about 4 years ago now, and I started vlogging my journey. At the time, I was a PhD student doing like cancer research, PhD in that kind of field. So I was kind of vlogging my experiences in different conferences, different locations around the world. And then people started asking me about the PhD itself, which is how I ended up where I am today. I didn't think anyone would be interested in this, the actual education side of things, but actually people loved it. They loved that I was, you know, a woman, a Black woman in doing a PhD, and I just thought it was normal, but everyone else seemed to find it really fascinating. So then I started sharing more about it, and then in the end now my channel is all about education, fun learning, bettering yourself, growth mindset, all of those good things. And if you come and join me on my platform, that is essentially what you see. And obviously a little like mum things. I've got a 1-year-old as well, so sort of mummy things from time to time, and lifestyle things, but for the most part education and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's me.
Love it. All right, let's go to Dimma.
So hi everyone, my name is Dimma Ome. Content creator living in Lagos, Nigeria. I started YouTube about 8 years ago. Around the time there weren't a lot of people doing that. Yeah, it's a long time ago. So it was around when I was doing my NYSC, which is a mandatory thing that we have to do here in Nigeria. So I picked up my camera around that time. But before that, I had been blogging for a year, just very similar to Amina. I'd been blogging for a year, not anonymously though, but then I would create looks and then I would list the products that I used. And then people just started asking, like, Dima, we want to see the process. We want you to talk us through it. We want you to show us how you actually arrive at the end result. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get a camera and I'm going to do it. So that's how I actually got into YouTube. I started out mostly with looks, makeup, beauty, doing a couple of tags here and there, but the channel has since evolved now. So it's also very heavy on lifestyle because I think maybe around 2015, 2016, I started seeing a lot of demand and requests for people, creators in my niche. People wanted to see our everyday lives, irrespective of location. And I decided, Nigeria is not a place where a lot of people were creating content from at the time. Even up until now, it's not a place where we have a good amount of creators, but maybe not compared to other places around. So people are really curious about our lives, what it is like. And I'm very happy. I was very happy to actually show because there's a lot of ignorance, I think, that you get on the internet with African creators. People just have all kinds of assumptions. We don't have water, we don't have light, we don't have that. So people are actually pleasantly surprised when they come and see that our lives are quite similar to the ones that they live. So the channel now, there's beauty there, but then it's also heavy on lifestyle. I talk about everyday things, social issues, things that just affect women in general, this part of the world, everyone in general. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Juma. 8 years, that is a long time. Michelle.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Adagala. I am in Nairobi, Kenya. So my YouTube channel is typically, it involves everything to do with health and fitness, wellness, nutrition, given that that's my career path. So I just decided to, expand and spread out the net and reach out to as many people as possible. So yes, I just typically cover everything to do with health and fitness, covering nutrition topics. For me, I like doing that through a scientific point of view, because in my industry, you can find that so many things are very misleading. So many things are very misleading. So I figured I'd just bring a fresh new perspective, scientific approach, working out here and there. So yeah, that's typically what my channel is about.
Nice. So we'll go to the birthday girl, Naledi.
Hi guys, my name is Naledi Munamudi. I am a Tswana girl from South Africa, Johannesburg. And I don't know, I feel like I was one of those YouTubers who wasn't even meant to be on YouTube because that was never part of my plan. But that's the beauty about life and the beauty about what is meant to be will be. So how it happened for me was I was going through a really rough patch in my life and I ended up going to therapy. So with my therapist, I could only afford 8 sessions with her. So by the time I had my last session, she was like, girl, we can't do this anymore. But I feel like you still have a lot of stories you need to share and tell. So just start a channel and just talk, get it all out, like heal through it. And that is how my channel started. It started as just me just healing because I didn't have a therapist. I didn't have money, guys. Life. But it worked and I did heal and I was able to heal other people through my stories. People learn from the stories that I tell. They laugh at me. I laugh with them. It's all just a very sisterhood type of relationship that I have with the people that watch my channel. So yeah, my channel is centered mostly around storytelling. And I do also dabble into a couple of other things on the channel in order to make sure I've got other content going on and to, spread myself across the board. But storytelling is my number one passion and it is what led me to YouTube. So it is what it is.
Nice. Thanks, Naledi. And Vanessa. Oh, did we lose Vanessa? Okay. That's the thing with working from home and virtual. It's like Wi-Fi can let you down, yo. All right, so Vanessa is gonna join us back in a few, but let's kick off. So we have a lot of people who are listening to you guys or you ladies, and want to know how you got started on YouTube, why YouTube. There's so many social media platforms now. So I think what I would do is start with a question and maybe call on one or two people. If anyone else wants to say anything, feel free to chime in. If not, we'll move on to the next question to make sure we can cover as much as possible in the hour that we have. So let's talk about why YouTube, because there's so many social media platforms. Why are you ladies leaning into YouTube? So maybe Dima, will start off with you. You started 8 years ago when there wasn't a lot today. So why why YouTube then? Why YouTube now? And then we'll go from there.
I think that around the time I started, YouTube was literally the only option that we had for long form content. Instagram didn't even have video at the time. It was something that came much later. Every other thing came much later. But YouTube was the only option I thought that I had. But even with all the other options that I have now, I think that it's definitely still going to be YouTube. The way that we grow community there is completely different from the way I think that you grow on other platforms. And it just allows you to share long form content in a way that I think makes sense to me. So that's why I think that even up until now, it's just my preferred platform for what I do.
Anyone else? Amina, maybe?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think for me, because my content is so education heavy, it's not something that Instagram traditionally kind of promotes, or sort of, you wouldn't go to Instagram for an educational tutorial or to learn how to write an essay. You'd go there for maybe like, fashion or makeup or something a bit quicker, like funny videos or memes. So I found, for me personally, even though Instagram wasn't a huge with video form as well, like 4 years ago, but I just found that I just found it more, like, I guess, easier to connect with an audience educationally on YouTube. Like, just how to do anything is, I'm sure we've all Googled how to, I don't know, boil an egg, like literally the most simple thing. You do that on YouTube and go to Instagram for that. So yeah.
Nice. Maybe Naledi, let's talk about, because you said you didn't even think, you're not the kind of person that would be on YouTube, or you didn't even think you would be on YouTube. So what would you say for someone who is thinking about starting on YouTube and doesn't feel like they are the type of person people want to hear from? Like, what are the things to get over to just get you started? How do you get started?
One thing that I definitely did in the beginning, because I also doubted myself a lot in the beginning. Like, I was just like, oh my word, am I needed here? Ooh, there's too many people, like people are going to judge me. But what I did, which I always advise, like a couple of people that I know want to get onto YouTube, is put up the content, but just have everything private, put it up just for yourself, and then go back and keep watching it. And then you'll start seeing that, okay, this one is fine. Okay, I'm happy with this one. Okay, if people see this one, I'll be, like, it's okay. Let me put it out there. And also, like, one thing I really liked about YouTube was the fact that there's no boundaries. Like, there's nothing stopping you from reaching someone who you never thought you would reach. That's what I loved about it. Like, it has no boundaries. Any person from anywhere around the world can watch. You can relate and make friends with so many different people. And that's what I loved, because I also didn't want it to be like, oh no, I'm going to put this thing up on, like, for example, my Facebook or my WhatsApp. But those are all my personal friends and people that I actually know. So I was a little bit embarrassed. So I was like, let me first put up on YouTube and not tell anyone, and see what people that I don't know, how do they feel about it? So I warmed up to that. And that's how I just started, getting into it.
Nice. Michelle, any tips?
I mean, I totally agree with Naledi with what she said. Like, there are literally no boundaries when it comes to YouTube. You can be in South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and you have someone in Antarctica watching your video and actually commenting and interacting with you. It's it touches a place in your heart, But in regards to getting started, I'd suggest actually finding something which you actually enjoy. In as much as for starters, people would suggest you cast your net wide and, If you want to try out makeup, do it. If you want to do vlogging, do it. If you want to do fitness, do it. But after some time, you're going to have to narrow down so that your audience actually finds you. And that's going to be a lot easier for you to navigate in terms of creating content and such other things, which, yeah, I'd recommend.
Nice. Vanessa, welcome back. So, no problem. Wi-Fi, I always say Wi-Fi can embarrass us, but it's fine. So yeah, let's maybe hear from you, what you do on YouTube, why you got started, and maybe you can even tell us why YouTube compared to all the other social platforms out there.
Will do, thanks. So I'm Vanessa Canvey, and I have a channel and I predominantly focus on Ghana. I'm actually coming from Accra, Ghana. I moved from Scotland about a month ago, and leading up to that for about a year and a half, I was creating content, interviewing people who had made the move from the African diaspora to Ghana specifically, or West Africa. And I also do like real estate tours, which people seem to really love. Things like how much does 100,000 get you in Ghana, that sort of thing. And then I also do small businesses and social justice issues now and then, mini documentaries. I did a documentary about the largest e-waste site in the world, about secondhand clothing, those sort of things that interest me. And why YouTube? So I love YouTube because you can do pretty much whatever you want. So I've made content for really big networks before, like the BBC, and often these networks have like restrictions, and when you're making something and there's so many people involved, obviously it has to pass so many people, whereas YouTube, I can just like make whatever I want, write my own script and put it up on my channel, which is the main reason why I love it. And the other thing is that it's AdSense program, which means that you can monetize your content without having sponsors, which is another reason why I chose YouTube. And then the other thing is that it's the second largest search engine after Google, which means that so many people already use the platform. So you don't have to try and funnel people to a platform to get them to watch your content. They're more than likely already on the platform.
Nice. And are you calling from Accra right now?
Yeah, so I'm in Accra in Ghana.
Okay, nice. All right, so let's talk about this notion of creativity versus consistency. Like on YouTube, we talk about being consistent, making sure that whether it's weekly uploads or bi-weekly uploads, but there's also this thing about being creative and being true to yourself and finding your own voice. So maybe let's hear from each of you how you've been able to find your own voice and balance creativity versus consistency, making sure that you're being true to yourself, but at the same time, you're giving your audience what they're coming to your channel to look for. So maybe Naledi, let's start with you.
Ade, sometimes I actually get mad at my subscribers because I will have this video that I've planned out for like a month, script, lighting, 2 cameras, editing, and then they don't watch it. Ade, no ways. So after that, I actually realized that the type of subscribers that I have, the people that watch my content, they're all about just the actual content. Like, what are you saying to us? Why are we watching this? Why is it important to us? And that's when I realized that, you know what, let me focus on the core of what am I saying, how am I saying it, and then I can add all the fluffy things after. So consistency is definitely important, especially for someone like me. Like, I once went on a break for about a month, I think. When I came back, it was so hard to pick up. And that's when I saw that I need to remain consistent. Yes, it might not always be a hit video every week, but just give them something. You need to remain top of mind. Because also I think of it like how there's a show in South Africa that every South African family used to watch. It's called Generations, right? And it aired every single weekday, 8 p.m. Whether the episode was boring or not, everybody would be watching. And that's almost what YouTube is like. You need to if you get people used to knowing that Wednesdays you're dropping a video, you need to try and be as committed to that as possible. And even if you don't drop a video, because we're human, you know, sometimes things happen, then at least give them something else on your other social media pages that still relates to the YouTube. So be like, okay, guys, please help me with, you know, trying to create questions for the next video or something. I don't know, but also get the people involved so that they can also understand when you do miss a week or an upload, that, you know what, this person is human. But definitely for me, it's content. Content has to be 100. Like, just give the people what they want.
Nice. Anyone else wants to?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I think I battled with this so much, sort of like trying to be consistent and posting at least once or twice a week, and then also posting content that I'm like proud of as well. But what I've done, like, this is like my secret, I batch film. So I filmed about a month ago, I filmed 8 videos. And I can do that because mine's sort of like how-to content. So it's not about like my current life or this week or last week. So I filmed 8 videos and I post twice a week. So I'm covered until like next week. And then I've got to figure out again. And then all I do, top tip, I just change my scarf. So it looks like it's different days. So it's like, you know, makeup's done. I just change my blazer. I wear like a white undertop, change the blazer, change the scarf, and it looks like it's a completely different day. So that's kind of what I do, but I kind of have to do that because otherwise, I think I've got a 1-year-old, like I said, I work a 9 to 5 and I have a business. It's not possible to film like twice a week or once a week. It's really like just not possible. So I think batch filming for some instances, I think really work. And then in between, I might throw in like a vlog or some like a live or something kind of in between to push the dates forward a bit more. But for me, that works. And I think for some people that would definitely work for their content as well.
I love the tip, batch filming. Maybe Vanessa, maybe we go to you or Dimma.
Yeah, so I have actually done both. I've batch filmed and I've filmed week by week, and I much prefer batch filming. I'm with you, Amina. It's just so much less stressful. I feel like when I film week to week, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I don't film, then, you know, not the world's going to end, but pretty much. Whereas if I film, so what I used to do before I actually moved to Ghana and I was making content about Ghana is I used to come for a week and a half and I'd film 35 videos and then I'd upload them for the next few months and then I'd come back and I'd film. And actually, like, that worked great for me because the pressure was on when I was here to film. And then when I went back, I could edit every week the videos that needed to go out. And I'm also with Naledi on like getting it done rather than making it perfect. I mean, I've made videos on my phone. Like I went to Lagos and I did a vlog purely on my phone and it did really well. And I've done videos like 3 camera setups, as you're talking about, 3 camera setups, lighting, you know, in different locations. And, you know, it's got like nowhere near as many views. So people literally just want to see the content. So it's better to get it out than get it perfect.
Anyone else? Michelle, Dimma?
Okay. So I think that one thing, I agree with Amina and Vanessa and Naledi as well. I'm sorry, can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm so sorry. So I agree with everyone. Batch filming is definitely something that you should try, or you should try to do if you can. For me, like my content is a mix of different things. So there's lifestyle and there are the sit down chit chat videos that, you know, it's just me talking to the camera. But those ones is a lot easier to batch film. If you're someone who does vlogs are a bit more difficult for you to film them way ahead of time, like months out before, because you also have to look consistent on other social media. If I should film something like months apart, like I can be uploading and then I don't look anything like what I look like around the time that I filmed it. So it's just like this tricky balance that you have to maintain. So with the sit down chit chat videos, I think that scheduling, First of all, I think that before I even say batch filming, scheduling helps a lot. So what I do is I just figure out what video goes up. So I upload 3 times a week now. That's the plan. So I try as much as possible to know what goes up at least a month ahead on what specific day. So what's going up this Wednesday. And then if you know that, you're able to, it makes batch filming easier because you're attending to it based on like priority. I think that that helps a lot. And then for the vlogs or the ones that you really cannot batch film or film like way ahead of time, I would highly recommend that you try as much as possible to get them done, if possible, like a week to 5 days before it's due. Don't look at time and think that you have all this time for what, like if a video that is going up on Sunday for me at this point, if it's not done by Monday, then I'm probably going to be late. So it's you just looking at it like working at it or just tackling it like that. I think that it helps. But batch filming definitely is something that you can do. And also just emphasizing on what Naledi said about like it not being perfect. Guys, it doesn't have to be perfect, to be honest. It doesn't. Like, just do what you can. I went through this whole phase of where, because I'm so big on quality, and I went through this whole phase of I have to have my camera, I have to film my camera. And then you live in a place in like Nigeria where a lot of spaces actually don't let you vlog. You know, you have to use your phone. Then you're like, I want to give them something like this, but then again, I have to use what I have. If you focus on perfection, it's not only just even like limiting you in terms of like, it actually limits the amount, the type of content that you put out, because you think that, oh, I need XYZ to actually create, but you can actually do so much with what you already have with you. So just get it done with whatever you can. Your content, your subscribers or your followers come back for you. One thing that YouTube has taught me is that your followers come back for you more than anything else. They come back for you before like all the creativity and all of that. So yeah.
Michelle, any last words?
I mean, they've said it all. They've all summarized it all. I agree with each and every one of you. But at the same time, the way Dima has said, like, your followers always come back for what you put out. So also listening to their suggestions really helps, right? They leave comments, take action on that, right? And in as much as you're filming in like the batch filming thing, yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes you might film in batch and the content becomes outdated and you end up scraping it off and refilming again, especially if it's, you know, current content. But for me, I create educational content, informational content. So if it's evergreen content, something which you can film today and still applies next year, then probably batch filming will work a lot better compared to maybe if you're a vlogger or, you know, you're talking about current affairs and things of the sort. But yeah, and also you can also utilize the other YouTube features. If you're not able to post on your actual videos uploads, yeah, you can use your stories on YouTube. You can use the community post on YouTube. You can also use your other social media platforms if you really can't be able to interact with people on YouTube.
Cool. So another question, and a lot of you have touched on your audience, your viewers, they're coming back for you, your viewers want to watch you. So let's talk about building community on YouTube. Because I know like a lot of YouTubers even have like family names for their YouTubers. Some people are like, hey family, some people are like, hey gang, some people are like, you know, there's like a family name for their viewers. So maybe we'll start with you, Michelle, talking about how have you built community with your audience? Like, what are some of the things that you've done to make your audience feel like they're part of your YouTube journey and make them invested in your journey?
Okay, for starters, when it comes to building a community, you need to understand that it takes time. It takes time because building a community requires trust, okay? So you can't just, you know, start your channel and then expect to immediately build a community. Sometimes that happens, but most times the people really need to see who you are, relate to what you put out, see your character, whether they relate to, you know, just your authentic self, right? So building a community, I can say, comes down to just your authenticity, how you present yourself, the type of content you put out, people like relatability. People also can see in between the lines, right? So as a YouTuber, if you are not true to yourself, they'll tell. They can tell, you know. So that's why, to me, building my community really came down to having a niche, because I am able to gather people in the fitness space, and we have a common denominator. We bond over fitness. We bond over, you know, the struggles of working out, the issues we face, how amazing it can get sometimes, how frustrating it can get sometimes. So narrowing down to a niche is really what helped me build that community of people. And yeah, just remember to have fun through it all, be authentically yourself, and not to take things so seriously, because at the end of the day, YouTube is just a social media platform like any other, and people seek relatability and connection. So yeah.
Cool. I love it. Be authentic. Anyone else?
I think one of my the major things that's helped with building my community and me actually knowing my community is YouTube Live. So going live on my channel and being able to talk to other people. So I actually use StreamYard, which we're on just now. And that means that I can bring on my subscribers. So we are together on screen kind of like this, and we can talk to each other. And without that, yes, you can see the comments, but you never really get to know exactly who's watching. And I've found that my subscribers have loved, you know, interacting with me, and I've also loved it because it gives me such a buzz. I also think it helps with the whole consistency thing. If you don't have a video ready to upload, you could always go live and do a Q&A. So yeah, I think going live on YouTube is definitely a great thing in building your audience.
And just to add to that, and just adding really heavily to what Michelle said, like people being able to relate is so important. There was this phase that I went through with my channel, I think, because I took a break, I think in 2016. And then when I came back in 2017, I felt like things had changed a lot. So the type of content that I did, pre 2017, they were just mostly educational tutorials, voiceovers. I didn't really show my personality. People will just come to watch specific things and go. And you see that a lot of the people who actually comment and people who come, they don't stay, because I feel like a lot of them just felt like they did not know you on a personal level. So people being able to come on your channel and relate, feel like they know you, you talk to them like you would like friends, I think that it helps a lot. You know, that's just the common thing with the type of comments that I see people just leave, especially when you talk about certain things. You just find out that more than anything, people just want people they can relate to with on the internet. So keeping it real, being yourself, talk like, there was a time that I was so caught up on my accent and the fact that I sounded too Nigerian. And I was like, oh, I wanted to appeal to a wider audience. And I felt like my accent wasn't that refined. Stupid, don't judge me. But then I went through that phase. But then I started talking like myself, and I'll even throw in Igbo here and there. And people who didn't even understand Igbo, they loved it because they felt that I was very comfortable. They felt like they were really seeing me for who I was for the first time. So I think keeping it real, you know, it helps. It helps with community building.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with him. I'm going through this challenge right now because my content is quite like standalone. You come to find out how to write this one essay, and then you go, or you come to find out how to pass this one exam, and then you'll go. So I don't necessarily have like that community that you might have with like a vlog channel or a channel where some, like, one of your subscribers watch every single video. I know that my subscribers don't watch every video because not every video relates to them. And what I'm doing to tackle that is I want to start vlogging a bit more, just to get my personality like into the videos. And I wanted to start ages ago, but we've been in lockdown for the past, like, I don't know, like 5 months. And I just didn't, like, there's nothing to show you in my house. So hopefully now that like London's opening up, I want to start kind of vlogging a bit more and showing sort of the things that I do and my personality. And I think people really enjoy, and I see that when I vlog, my views are so high, and the comments are a lot more like personal than when it's just like a how-to video. It's just like, oh, thanks for that, as opposed to like more lifestyle-y insights. So yeah, I completely agree with what was just said.
I also just want to agree with Dima, and I want to add on to it because I don't know if I'm the only one who like experiences this, but every single time I bump into a subscriber in real life, whether I'm shopping at the mall or at an event or whatever, they always say to me, yo, Naledi, please say that thing you said on the channel. Go like, yo, Chomaza. You know, they want me to say the things that I say on the videos, which is why, like, you need to be yourself because you can't now start acting in front of these people when they're like, yo, Chomaza, you know, you can't, your energy can now be down there, but on the videos you are up there. Because now it's like, how are you lying to us? You know, and these people actually, they are real people and they become attached to you and they love you and they bring you into their homes. They're watching you with their cell phones, on their TVs, like you are part of their lives, which is also, you need to be able to understand that actually, I might not be a celebrity, but I'm someone who a lot of people relate to, you know, so you need to be able to just be yourself because when you bump into them, they're gonna ask for you to do those things that you do on the channel. So just be yourself. And then the second thing that I noticed is that once you actually build a community and it becomes a strong community, it is not your channel anymore. And this is just my truth because these people feel so involved with you and they want to feel like, you know, we are making this thing grow. When you say, okay, let's get to 100,000 subscribers, they rally people, they, you know, there's a hashtag, they'll do the most. So it is not your channel anymore. Once you have a community and you can see these people demand videos every week, or if you post late, they DM you, it is not your channel anymore, and accept it and be okay with it also because you were doing it for them. You know what I mean? You were doing it so that people could relate. So you need to be able to give 50% of it away, which is why I also love doing stuff like polls and just do different types of activities on your other social media pages, even on YouTube stories where you can involve them because they absolutely love that. They want to feel a part of this thing that you're doing. So it's not your channel anymore, boo. Nope.
I love it. It's not your channel anymore. It's our channel. All right. So let's talk about, I think all of you are on the continent except Dr. Amina. So maybe let's talk about, I love how I'm calling you like Dr. Amina. So let's talk about what's unique about creating content on the continent. So not only what's unique about creating content on the continent, but what's unique also about creating content from the continent. So like being on the continent and showcasing that to the world. So Vanessa, maybe we'll start with you, right? Your channel is predominantly about Ghana and showcasing Ghana and the beauty in the country. So like what is unique about that? And why do you also think that has been something you wanted to hone into?
So I've got a pro and a con about creating content on the continent.
Yeah, let's hear them.
The pro is definitely that, as Dima said earlier, there's not actually that many content creators in Ghana. I mean, most of them I pretty much know. I mean, it's growing like rapidly, but a lot of them I have met personally. And so there's so many niches that have not yet been tapped into. And what I love about creating content about Ghana and why I actually started doing it in the first place is because originally I was creating content about motherhood. And then when I'd come to Ghana on holiday, like I used to every year, I would do a vlog and it would blow up. People would just be so excited. And I realized that actually there's not enough people making content about Ghana and not enough quality content as well. And so many people are interested, and a lot of people in America especially don't get shown on TV, you know, what it can really be like for some people living here. And so being able to show people that is amazing. Like today I bumped into one of my subscribers in the mall, and he said that all of his friends who live in Trinidad in the Caribbean and also in America were saying to him, like, they watch my channel and they can't believe what it's really like. So I love to be able to show that side to the rest of the world. The con that I have is that because it is quite a new thing here, not everybody in terms of like resorts you might go to or shops, restaurants, not everybody understands the value of influencers or showing people on online. So you might actually come across a challenge of being able to film, or you might have to pay to film. You know, it's more difficult to get sponsorships, I'd say. And I do think it's changing, but I think that it's very different to creating content in, let's say, the UK, where I think a lot of people now understand the value of influencer marketing, whereas here it's quite new, and sometimes you have to like fully tell somebody about it and educate them on that before even getting onto the step of, you know, how much you might even be getting.
Anyone else? Michelle, Dimma?
I totally agree with Vanessa, especially, okay, also may I have the pros and the cons. In Kenya, especially after the terrorist attack we had some years back, so it made it very, very difficult for us to take pictures, take videos in public. You have to get a permit, you have to pay to film, you have like so many restrictions, and that just messes with the flow, you know, that creative flow which is needed when you're creating content. So it's very annoying in that sense. For me, being in the fitness industry, it's also quite hectic because it's very male dominated, right? So being a young woman and then being in the fitness industry, sometimes that's not taken up very easily. There's a lot of judgment, but at the same time, there's that community of women who, you know, are rooting for you, riding for you, you know, supporting you. So for me, it's been quite the experience because, like, it's almost like the contrast is very stark, but at the same time, I'm able to. It's like I'm inspiring so many people, seeing how I'm inspiring many people, and also, you know, just pushing them to even start their own channels in regards to health and fitness. That's very motivating to me, right? So it's like I'm opening up doors, but at the same time, so many doors are closed because of just how the culture is in Kenya or in Africa in general.
Yeah, and I love that you guys are being, ladies, are being true, right? Like, there are pros and there are cons to, you know, creating content on the continent. Anyone else wants to add on?
Just like everything that Vanessa and Michelle has said, I agree completely. It's people not it's the restrictions you get with, you know, creating content. A lot of spaces, because I kind of touched on that before, they don't understand you coming in with a camera, just trying to even document yourself. And that's the reason why I had to switch like just to my phone so that I'd not have to explain myself as much. And also just adding to what Vanessa said about people not understanding YouTube for what it is. So when it comes to sponsorships and endorsement, it's so crazy that, you know, okay, so it's influencer marketing is not something that is unknown. Like Nigeria has actually caught on, and you see a lot of brands trying to work with influencers. But then it's crazy to me that considering my numbers on YouTube, and I have way more followers on YouTube than I have on Instagram, you see a lot of brands and people who represent them PR, they approach me, and it's not just me, they approach a lot of creators I know on YouTube, but they don't want you to create content on YouTube for them. They would rather you go post somewhere else on Instagram that I think that maybe is a lot easier for them to understand. And I don't think that YouTube is something that is that difficult. But then I think that most of the time it comes down to the average person. If they don't watch YouTubers as much, they just automatically assume that nobody else watches YouTubers, and they'd rather go to a platform that they think that a lot of people understand, which is Instagram, and everybody talks about Instagram. So it's you know, wanting to work with brands on that platform, but also knowing that, you know, the responsibility to educate, it will fall on you most of the time, just trying to convince them of what they stand to gain. There's also internet and data and a couple of other things that tend to be a bit tricky here, but then these ones that I've just touched on are the ones that, you know, I think are, you know, pressing.
Now, lady, any final thoughts?
What I noticed in my country, especially since the start of COVID, was that before COVID, a lot of brands, as Dima was saying, like a lot of brands did not recognize YouTubers as content creators. But once COVID hit, and the best way to market your product or whatever was digital marketing, and it was via YouTube, because that was, people were always on their phones. That's when the rise, like, happened a little bit in my country. That's when a lot of YouTubers that I know and that I'm friends with started actually getting paid campaigns, because it was the only way to get to people. So it's so crazy, but I don't know. It's very tricky. Like, it's, well, the country that I live in, majority of the people in the country are still struggling a lot. Not everyone has internet connection. So it is always difficult to try and negotiate with brands that, like, yo, if you use me, I'm telling you, you will get this reach, you will get this engagement, but you just have to keep pushing. And also, that's why I love the fact that when you look at your analytics on YouTube, it shows that it's not just people from your country that are watching you, that's also like a nice bait that you can use with people that it's not about just this country. I'm worldwide, I'm worldwide. So I don't know, it helps. Like, YouTube is great with that. There isn't any other social media that I've used that shows that type of analytics. So that really does help a lot. And another thing that I noticed is the fact that people expect you to be a representative of your country, right? They may not say it, but they definitely do, because people will ask you questions about your country. They'll ask you, oh, is this what happens in South Africa? Oh, Joburg girl, whatever. So you need to also understand that even if your content is not surrounding those type of topics or whatever, you will still once in a while see someone in the comments expecting you to be the president of that country because you are a South African YouTuber. So also just you need to be ready for those type of things. Unfortunately, that's just the field that we're playing in.
I love it. They expect you to be the president of South Africa. Okay, so we have a couple more questions before we go to the audience. So, Amina, you mentioned balancing, your 9 to 5, and you have a 1-year-old, and congrats, by the way. And so it would be good to hear, because there are a few, not every YouTuber is a full-time YouTuber. There's some that are full-time YouTubers. This is what they do. This is their livelihood. It's their passion, and it's their job, which is great. But there's some people who still have to balance other things. So talk about maybe 1 or 2 tips of how you balance everything, including YouTube. Oh, you're me.
Yeah. Okay. It has been a struggle. I'll be completely honest. I have a very unhealthy balance of things, if I'm going to be completely honest. But honestly, I think as of late, especially since having like a child and everything, I've had to like ask for a lot more support, and I think it's completely okay to do so. I'm one of those people that love to be very independent. I just, if I can do it, I'll do it myself, no matter how hard it is. But I think one thing that the YouTube Black Award has really helped me with is financially giving me the kind of option to be able to get that support. So one thing I've done, and this has like changed my life on YouTube, is get an editor for my videos. And I know that I've been on the platform for 4 to 5 years now, so I know that's not something that kind of a newbie might be able to get access to. But if it does relieve you of some stress, I do think it's worth the money, even, and I do wish I got it before. So what it allows me to do is batch film, as I mentioned earlier, but then I can now like delegate that editing side of things to someone else, which really, really, really helps. And it means that I can stay consistent on YouTube, have a balance, of in life, but also kind of have that off time as well. So I definitely would recommend, if you can get support from anyone, like a family member or just something to help you, that's sort of what I would sort of urge you to do. Otherwise, I think in things that don't cost any money, just being really, I guess, scheduled with your time and organized, and more than that, I think discipline. I've had to have a lot of like discipline in life just to be able to get the things that need to get done, and also to know how to prioritize. Because I think one thing that I talk about a lot on my channel is like productivity and to-do lists, and I'm sure we all have a to-do list that's as long as our arm and can continue going on if we really wanted to. But really, it's all about picking out that task that is a priority And I can recommend drawing this table out, which is important, not important, priority, not a priority. And what you end up doing is when you kind of fill that table out, you end up kind of in that box where it's priority and important, you end up with that one task that you need to get done. And usually it's a task that we don't want to do, which is why we don't do it first. But you kind of force yourself to look at that box and say, right, let me get that thing done first, regardless of what it is. And so, yeah, that would be my biggest tip, I think, just sort of getting support and just finding an organizational schedule or like workflow that works for you. Without my calendars and diary and all these things that I look at, I would be like lost. I would just be completely lost, and I would miss every meeting. I wouldn't even be here now. So, yeah.
Anyone else with a 9 to 5 that wants to chime in?
Well, I don't have a 9 to 5, but I work at the gym, right? Because I'm a trainer. So that means showing up for my clients maybe as early as 5 a.m. to as late as 8 p.m., maybe 3 to 4 days a week. And then now on top of that, creating content, it can get very hectic, right? For me, when it comes to that, I really prioritize my quality, even if it means lowering the upload frequency, right? If it means I'm going to be comfortable uploading once a week, if that accommodates my current work status, then so be it. Once a week, I'm not going to kill myself and try and upload thrice a week or something, you know. So as Amina said, having your calendar set up, having alarms for literally everything, reminders for everything, and also utilizing the scheduling feature which YouTube has, that really comes in handy. I don't know if, no, YouTube doesn't use any other third-party apps, but for other social media platforms, if you're also diversifying, you can use apps like Later, Planoly, Canva also, to also post on your YouTube community post. So just planning ahead of time, scheduling, really works well for me. But honestly, if the week is really busy, it becomes very difficult to post on YouTube. And that's okay.
Okay, let's talk about, I think my network is acting up, but hopefully you guys can hear me. I mean, I talked about the YouTube Black, voices and what that has done as she balances everything. So let's talk about what being a part of the Black Voices Fund class of 2021 means to each of you. And congrats, by the way, for being a part of the inaugural Black Voices Fund cohort, the global cohort. So let's talk about what that means to you. Maybe we'll go again alphabetically. So Amina, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I was so surprised when I won it. I think we probably could all say the same. The actual, when they announced it to us in the meeting, the one-to-one meeting, it was not a meeting that I ever expected to be about that. It was such a random meeting, and then they just dropped it. And it was, yeah, it was such a lovely, lovely thing to hear. I think what it means to me is it means like I can not only get support, obviously financially, that's one side of things, but also from YouTube themselves to be recognized. It means so much, I think, to be recognized by the platform that you've been posting on for the past, 4, 5, 6 years. And, I think for some people, like I said, I have a 9 to 5, but I also see YouTube as something that I potentially could do full time. And I like to think that I have like an employer, I like to think that I have someone that I can go to for support. And I think having the YouTube Black award and having the support for all the people that are helping us in the background really means that I feel like I have like colleagues, and I feel like I have a team, not only like everyone that's kind of won it as well, but also people that are supporting us from the background from YouTube themselves. So it's just so nice. It's given me a lot more inspiration and encouragement. Since I won it, I've been so consistent with my channel, posting twice a week. So I used to post once a week. I haven't missed like twice a week now since like January. And like I said, got an editor, and it's just really given me that boost that I feel like I needed in that time of my YouTube like career. Yeah, so I'm super, super grateful. I think if anyone's sort of thinking about starting a channel, just know that is something that these are things that you can apply for, regardless of how small and how big you are in terms on your channel. When I won my first YouTube, I guess contest, I was on like 10K followers. It was like a London sort of YouTube competition where you can come in for, I think it's like 3 years ago, it's like a whole week for mentoring. And I only had 10,000 followers and everyone else had like 70, 80,000 or more. So, you can be as small or as big as you imagine, and you get support from YouTube. And that's why I absolutely love it.
Great. Dimma?
Okay, so when I was told, like, first of all, I felt seen. YouTube is, I know we were asking in the beginning why YouTube. YouTube actually is the only other social media, actually not other, that I see constantly appreciating creators. They support you however they can. They make themselves available to you. They make you know that you have options. If something is wrong, you don't cry yourself to at the thing that is the end of the world, like cry yourself to sleep. You know that at least you have options until maybe you get to a dead end. So that's one thing. Just I wanted to say that. Around the time I got that call, Adi was the one that broke the news to me. I know that we all had different people. I literally screamed because I was like, that week was so stressful to me. And I thought that I was at the end of my rope. And I had all these big ideas, all these things that I wanted to do on my channel, all these things that I wanted to do. And then I was thinking about how to actually make them work, because last year was such a stressful year. Creators, we just didn't have access to a lot of things. We were forced to create content, try to be consistent, do everything just on our own. And then when Ati came and told me this, I was like, oh my God. So I can actually afford to get another assistant. So I can actually afford now to constantly use an editor. So to me, it was me feeling like seen, and also just at the same time it just blessing me with options. So that's what that meant to me.
Naledi?
That day. Amina, Dima. Guys, I remember it as well. I was in disbelief. Like, I think I was pinching myself. I was just like, oh my word, wait, what does this mean? Wait, let me go read everything. Wait, it just felt like an out of body experience. But also, like, I've always lived knowing that what is meant for you will not pass you by, which is also why I want to encourage everyone to make sure you send whatever you need to send, you enter, you subscribe to all the YouTube Black things. There are so many opportunities that we get every single week. And this is to all YouTubers, not just the class of 2020. No, all YouTubers, if you subscribed, you get newsletters, you get tips and tricks, you get invites to so many different sessions where you can learn so much. And also, advice that I would give is that you must always be willing to learn and soak up. Whenever you get to the meetings or the virtual sit downs, sometimes just know what room you're in. Keep quiet, listen from the professionals, and then ask questions at the end. Never leave without asking a question. That was always my thing. And I think that's also probably how I stood out before the whole YouTube Black class started. I was in every single session asking questions, speaking to the facilitators. So I knew that they were going to know me, whether they liked it or not. I was like, you know what, Ade, you and I are going to be friends. You know what, Sasha, you and I are going to be besties. And now, like it's like being part of a family. I'm so grateful. Sometimes I can't even believe it. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what, let me just check how Sasha is, even though I don't even need to ask her something. So it's like being part of a family, and everyone is so nice. Everyone is just so friendly. Like it's such a great support. And also it's crazy because there are so many YouTubers in the world, and when you start your own channel, you feel so alone in the beginning. So to find something like this that you can call home is so comforting, and no one ever judges you guys. Like, I've asked some of the craziest questions, so trust me, no one is judgmental there. They don't laugh at you if you don't know how to edit that well yet. it is all about helping you. And I'm so grateful. Like, I will never forget that phone call. It has honestly changed my life.
Great. Michelle.
Yeah, I think I agree with everyone. Like, that was just really refreshing, really very much needed given how 2020 was. So just receiving news about the grant and YouTube Black, it was just very, like, I was very happy, honestly. For me, I'd say just put your best foot forward, okay? Because when my sister sent me the link to apply for the YouTube Black grant, I was like, okay, what's this even about? We've never heard of this, you know. But you just take your chances and apply for it, and you know, like, look how things turned out. So put your best foot forward, believe in yourself. It doesn't matter if you have 5K subscribers, 100K, go ahead and put yourself out there. And always remember that people are watching. It doesn't matter if your numbers really don't matter. People are looking at what you're doing. So just go for it regardless. For me, I'd say that being part of the YouTube Black Voices Fund is very empowering, especially as a young Black woman in Africa. You know, it's very empowering to have my voice heard and amplified, you know. Being able to tell my narrative in my own way, because oftentimes, honestly, our story has been told by so many other people other than us, especially as Black women from Africa. You know, we have had so many twists and turns about our own narratives. So it feels very fresh and very empowering to actually take control and, you know, say your story as it is. Yes, it was very beneficial in terms of, you know, the financial boost. If you needed an assistant, now you're able to get one. If you need to upgrade your equipment, you can actually buy a new camera, buy new lighting. And that in turn actually motivates you to create more content. And, you know, that adds up to the benefit at the end of the day. So I'd say go for it. I'm sure this year there's also going to be another opening to apply. So definitely go ahead and do
that. And Vanessa.
I also, honestly, on that call, I cried, and I'm not even the person that cries that much. I was just like, oh my gosh, why am I crying on this call to people from YouTube? But it was that feeling of, I've been working on my channel for all these years, pretty much on my own with my laptop. And now I've got people from the actual platform there on the screen telling me that they appreciate me. Like, I felt, and I still feel like so grateful to YouTube. And I think that they do so much for their creators. And we had this 3-week incubator, which I loved so much. We got to meet industry professionals and learn and be educated about so many things, you know, camera, lighting, and even beyond YouTube. I think that YouTube cares about us, not even just on the platform, but beyond that, which I really appreciate. And yeah, I mean, I honestly, I just like love YouTube ever since then as well. I've worked with Google from this, and I've also, obviously I'm on this because of that. You know, there's been so many opportunities that have come my way, and I also would say apply to everything. It was one of my subscribers that sent me the link, and I was just like, what is this? And I was like, well, I may as well apply. So it just shows you as well that if that subscriber hadn't sent me that link, I sent him a long email saying like, thank you so much, because it shows that subscribers also care, you know, a lot about us. So yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks. That's such a great story that your subscriber was the one who actually sent you the link. Like, that's amazing. And just to plug in again, if you want to be a part of the YouTube Black community, if you want to get newsletters, events, and like Michelle said, yes, there will be another application for the next cohort. Please scan the QR code on the screen and you get added to our mailing list. So whenever we have any announcements, when the next application does open up, you will be the first to hear about it. And you can either apply yourself or share it with your friends or other YouTubers that you know. So let's take some questions from the audience. We have a couple of questions that have come in. So I will ask the question, and anyone that wants to answer it can unmute and answer. So the first one is, how do you maintain privacy when being hyper visible online? So how do you still maintain your privacy when you're basically showing yourself to the world?
I'm happy to speak on this one. So I actually used to do parenting things. So my kids used to be on my channel and, you know, just all that sort of stuff. But then I got to a point where I started getting some hate videos and things like that. And I realized that if my kids were ever in one of those, I just don't know what I would do, because they haven't chosen like consciously to be online. And at that moment, I took down all the videos that featured my children, and now I don't put their faces online at all. And I think, I mean, it might change at some point in my life, but I just feel like they are so young, they're 4 and 8, and there's no way that they can really understand what it is to be online and what can really come from that. And so I think that's one step I've taken. Another one is to never show like the outside of my house, the area that I live in. I never actually post where I am when I'm there either. I'm probably really paranoid for not good reason, but you know, like if I'm somewhere, I'll post after I've left the place, because I just think like you never know who could, you know, be watching or anything like that.
All right. Unless someone else wants to chime in.
When Vanessa said you were being paranoid for no good reason, no, you're not being paranoid for no good reason. You don't, like, I do this same exact thing. I do not, like, even on down to Instagram, I'm not posting stories while I am there. It's the same thing, because I tend to do a lot of lifestyle. I never ever show like the area where I live. Even like when you're vlogging on the road, you take very, very active steps not to show anything, because people are wild. And at this point, I feel like I've also perfected like telling you so much and not telling you anything at all. And I'm not saying this like in a bad way, but then I share what I want to share. And I think that anybody who loves you and enjoys watching your content will know that it's not necessarily everything that they need to know, because you're like a human being outside all of this. So it's just the same thing that she said. There are little things that we do. It might not be obvious that we do them, but then yeah, they are just, especially with people who create lifestyle content, like content that kind of shows our life in a way that kind of seems like maybe like real time. You just have to be very conscious what you show, that's it.
Yeah, I think I'll add to that. I think for me, I just have like boundaries on things that I'll talk about and things that I won't talk about. So even in my like lifestyle-y videos, I'll just keep it quite, light. I tend not to talk about like things like politics, because that's just not what my channel's about. And I don't feel qualified as well to talk about some certain things. So what, I don't want to kind of encourage any sort of aggression or any sort of like, kind of hate comments. And yeah, even though I wear a headscarf and I'm Muslim, I don't talk about religion at all. That's quite a personal thing. And so that's not what my channel's about either. So there's certain things that I don't talk about, and I think that those things are quite personal to me. And with my son, I rarely show him as well. I'm still kind of debating on that. I think what Vanessa said is quite a strong point. I think definitely as he gets older, I definitely will like cut him out from my social media as well. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's your channel, it's your platform, it's your space. Show what you want to show, say what you want to say, don't say what you don't want to say. Like no one should be able to dictate that, really. We have so many aspects to our character that we don't have to show everything to be accepted.
All right. Let's move on. Oh, did someone want to? Okay, let's move on to the next question. So it's, how do you go about creating or negotiating your rate card?
Okay, so I'll take that. I'll go. Like when I first started, I was very clueless, and I've kind of explained that there are not a lot of YouTubers in Nigeria around the time that I started. So one website that did help me at the time is the website called Social Blue Book. I haven't used it in a while, but it really, really helped me at the time. And also by having conversations with others. So I found that I had a lot of people outside of Nigeria who had around the same amount of subscribers that I did in my niche. And I just had conversations with them, honest conversations, and I kind of explained to them what I was trying to do. And some of them were kind enough to tell me what they were charging for certain things. So that kind of gave me a range. And Social Blue Book came in because what it does is, like I said, I haven't used it in a while, but it's this website that lets you log on there and just share your socials with them, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and then it kind of runs an analysis. At the time that I first used it, it took them about a month, or it takes them about a month to run an analysis and get back to you and tell you, based on so, this is what you should be charging. So it gives you 3 prices. There's a minimum, there's like an average, and then there's a maximum that you should be charging with your reach. So that helps. But then again, like, you know, you use industry standards and then you come down to Nigeria here. Like for me, I had to at a point kind of even split my rates, because you come into Nigeria and then you have to factor in a couple of things that are very specific to your region, and that also determines how you price certain things. So I would say reach out to people who are in your niche, like have honest conversations with them. And then you might not even I think that maybe when you reach out to people and be like, how much do you charge for this? I want to know what to charge. People get a bit defensive maybe when you ask them, but maybe you can start off, especially if it's someone who is has way more followers than you do. You can actually start from the angle of, what were you charging when you had this amount of followers? I'm really struggling and I'm trying to figure out how to charge. They'll most likely help you. So Social Blue Book, if you don't know who to reach out to directly, but then if you have people that you can talk to them, I would say.
All right. So
I just want to give a quick tip as well. When you are in that phase of like negotiating, I've picked up from some of the brands that I've worked with, the moment that you start the conversation by already speaking about the money, you're kind of turning them off. You know, like first try to let the money be the last thing that you ask about, you know, and also try to not ask about the money direct if it's like a face-to-face meeting. Rather say, okay, cool, let me go back home, think about this, and I'll send you guys a package. Rather say a package deal of what I can do based, you know, like don't just go in and say, okay, I want 20,000 rand. It's gonna be like, girl, the meeting didn't even start, relax, you know. And also you don't want it to be like you're just doing it for the money, even if you are, you know, like just let it be the last thing that you ask about. Show them that you are really interested, you know, be part of the conversation, give some ideas on how the content could work. And then at the end, when it comes to negotiating, also don't be scared of saying the price that you want to say. So many people have undersold themselves, including myself, only because I was scared of saying a certain amount. And that is not going to help you, because it's just going to also put a damper on you actually creating the content, because you're going to be like, oh my word, I don't even want to do this thing because I should have gotten more. Other people are getting more. So rather go in high so that even when you do negotiate, you're slightly below the amount that you still wanted. Don't start off low. Like you need to also know, like, there's so many pages where you can actually check sites and stuff, the worldwide standard rate based on your followers, your engagement, all those type of things, using your analytics. So don't be afraid of saying your price. If they don't want to work with you, trust me, there are so many other brands in the world. It is not the end of the world. At least they will know to come back to you when they have that budget.
Sorry, I just want to really add to this, because I found it really interesting that Naledi said, don't bring up your rates or talk about money until towards the end. I think that maybe there's some cultural thing that enters here, because here in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned by experience, if you leave bringing up the money for last, then they think that they can get away with it not coming up at all in the conversation. So I would recommend that don't let it not be the first thing you bring up, but then it shouldn't be what you leave for last. Somewhere in the middle, you have to make it clear or start implying very gently, or you can also be very straightforward, depending, that you expect to be paid. Because for a very long time, influencers were not paid here. Like for a very, very, very long time. A lot of us were expected to do things for favors or with the hopes that something will come paid next time. So I'd say that depending on where you are, but if you're here, I'd say bring it. Don't let it not be the first thing. Don't go into it talking about money, but then halfway through, at least, let it be something that you're bringing up. Don't leave it for last. From personal experience, I would say.
The question that I ask, actually, that's a good point, is I say, do you have a budget for this project? And then if they say no, then, if I'm not interested, that's the end of that conversation. I'm not going to spend like, weeks talking to you, and then you say, actually, that was for free. So I start off by saying, like, do you have a budget? Especially if they approach you, then that's a whole different story. If they approach you, then come to me with something to give, and then if they say, yes, you have a budget, then fine, let's talk about the project, and then we can, discuss from there. But you'd be surprised, even in London, you'd be so surprised, people that come up to you and expect like free work. How do you think these bills are being paid like with your free exposure? Yeah.
Another thing I'd like to add on is that you need to sign a contract. If you guys actually come down to agreeing to work together, make sure you sign a contract. If there's no contract involved, ask them for a contract. Because the last thing, as Amina said, is that you don't want to work and then get paid by views or exposure. So you need the money. So make sure there's a written contract and all the things are stated out clearly, and you'll get your remuneration.
And please, if they do send a contract, read it. I'm begging you in the name of God, read that contract. Because I've seen people, you have a conversation, agree on things, and then they just slide these very ridiculous things into it, hoping that you actually don't get to that point of get to that page and actually read in detail. I know that some people struggle to read when you feel like the terms, like lawyers tend to use a lot of big terms. And if those things kind of worry you, then get someone to read it for you. But make sure that you actually go through everything that they've written there line by line, so that you actually don't sign away, like rights to things that you don't have any business signing, away.
All right, cool. So this was directed at Dima, but I think anyone can also chime in as we sort of wrap up on the last few questions. So it said, Dima, you said your followers come back for you. How do I make my followers trust me to always come back? And I think some of you are already touched on this. So Dima or anyone else can answer and kick off.
I think that there are so many ways to build trust. It's like you saying that you do something a certain way and then you consistently do it that way. It's also you just being consistent, not just with the way you put out content, but with the things that you say as well. And I know that people also grow and evolve on the platform. If you do grow and then you change your views when it comes to certain things, then also explain and just talk like you would talk with friends and family or loved ones or whatever. But then I would say just speaking, I found personally for me that speaking to my audience like I would speak to friends, I think that has helped me a lot. Keeping it 100, saying things that I will not do and just keeping to them, just doing things like that, I think is very, very important. And like I said, just being myself, sometimes in the absence of all the other things I've just said, being myself, speaking to them in a language that they understand, using analogies that they understand, these things help a lot. So I'd say like, you don't even need to tell them that you're being yourself. They will see for themselves that they can relate with you or to you. So I just say do that and you'll be surprised the results that you get.
All right, cool.
And I have a quick tip also, just for getting people to always come back. I've noticed since I've started using teasers on my social media pages, it's almost like it builds hype to the next thing that I'm about to drop. So after you're done editing, just do a quick 10-second, 20-second teaser, put it up on like your Instagram or whatever. They will come back because you're already, teasing them into something that they already like. And now it's building hype and it's also easy for them to share it with other people. So that's also like letting them know what stage of the process you're in terms of giving them the content, keeping them up to date, saying, yo guys, today I'm about to start editing this what video, can't wait for you guys to see it. Just give them updates. They will come back. Keep communication going. Even if you're not able to post, just be honest, I think, about the stage that you're in. Even if you're currently not okay and you won't be putting something up, still let them know. Just say, guys, maybe I'll do a Q&A on Twitter, but I'm okay. I just can't shoot a video right now, but I've still got you. You know, like, communication for me works a lot. Teasers work. They will come back. You just need to make sure you remain top of mind, because there are so many YouTubers, guys. Tomorrow they can forget you so quick if you do not stay top of mind. Stay top of mind wherever you can get them. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure these people remember you. Then they'll come back.
I love that. A couple more, and I think this is an important one too. Do you ever take mental health breaks? So how do you manage your mental health in staying consistent, giving your followers what they want, being creative? How does mental health play a role?
So oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
So I would say, like, for a year straight, I uploaded consistently 3 times a week, and I didn't let anything stop that. But after that, I took a 2-week break, and I had to do that. And even this past week, I uploaded once, but I should have uploaded 3 times. And I was just like, I just can't do it. Like, you know, so much has gone on. I've obviously moved countries, and, you know, it's taken probably more of a toll on me than I thought it would. And I thought, yes, I'll just hit the ground running, but it's not that simple sometimes. So I think, I now do take breaks, but it is still very difficult for me, because I have a lot of pressure in my head, like, because if I don't upload, obviously, like, it impacts different things. So I'd say I do take breaks, but they're not exactly stress-free, because I am still, like, worried about uploads and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I agree with Vanessa. I think you can be, you know, scheduled and organized, etc., but that isn't always healthy. And I think, like, your viewers would rather a healthy, happy you than a stressed out you with lots of content. And one thing that I've just learned to accept, and I think, again, this has come with, like, having a child and kind of that's your priority, is just accepting that there's not going to be a video today. Like, that's completely okay. The world isn't going to end. Your subscribers are still going to be there. Like, you know, it's really not going to change. And I think that when it hit me was, I think there was a time when I didn't post, I think when I had my child, like, a year ago, I didn't post for about a month or 2. And nothing changed in terms of analytics. People were still coming back to watch my videos, because my videos are quite evergreen content. So people were still coming back. And I was like, you know what? I was stressed out for that, when actually there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking a break. And so, yeah, I'd recommend, don't, like, stress out too much, but with the numbers and the schedules, and just be happy and do it, you know, casually, and enjoy it. It's the main thing, enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And actually, if you don't take your breaks, you'll end up burning out. And I think burnout to a YouTuber is it's usually a disaster, because it's like you want to create content, but at the same time you can't. You're stuck, but you still want to push forward. You know, taking breaks is necessary, because if you don't, then now the quality of your content will go down. Your subscribers will notice, you'll also notice, you'll get stressed out about it. So there's no problem, you can grow. And as Dima said, you know, your followers will always come back for you. So just take time off, recharge, and they'll always be there.
All right. So one more question, and my computer is acting a little cuckoo here. What advice would you give to African women on the continent who want to start their YouTube journey? What would your younger self need to know? So I think we'll go around the horn for this one. And maybe let's start backwards. So Vanessa, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So when I started, I was not consistent, and we've spoken about consistency so much on here, but I would upload a video, then like a month would go by, then I'd upload another one. And I'm not saying that's pointless, but I don't think it's really productive when you have a channel. So I think I'd say start when you're ready to sort of like commit to something, whether that be one video every 2 weeks, one video a week. But I do think uploading every single week will definitely help you grow. Another thing is thumbnails. So thumbnail and title is so important, and some free websites that you can use are PicMonkey or Canva. I use PicMonkey, and I use the same template every time. I just switch up the name and the picture. So make sure that you know what the thumbnail and the title is going to be when you're, making it, basically.
I agree with Vanessa. Like the first thing I'd say, however, is start. Just start, because I feel like a lot of people spend a lot of time thinking of how to start that they don't actually start. I've had quite a few women reach out to me saying they want to start the YouTube channel, but they don't think that their video is this great, and and I'm like, just post it. Sometimes the things that you can beat yourself up so much about, you see that people don't even notice them. You're the one who is fixating. So let people actually tell you what to do next. The way they respond to the things that you do or the things that you put out should actually serve as a pointer as to just what to stop and what to, emphasize or continue doing. And then, like, I also completely agree, like, as Vanessa said, like, the YouTube algorithm, it rewards consistency. I know that we've talked about creativity and all of that, but I know just from the way that it's played out for me, it rewards consistency. You have to be consistent. Even for the other videos that you've put out, the older ones, like the more consistent you are, the more YouTube keeps recommending your videos to others. So consistency is very, 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 very important. And title, thumbnail, I also agree. Like I'm at a point now where if I'm working on a video, like when I started out, like the thumbnail and the title, they're like the last minute things. They are those things that I work on like maybe 30 minutes before the video is published. I'm at a stage now where I actually begin to think of the thumbnail before I shoot. You want to know how it will look before you actually shoot. And it's because those things call to action. They call to action, and then you want people to actually click. I know that sometimes some of us have clicked on videos where you clicked on it because you were so curious, and then you watch the video and it's so crappy. And you're like, what am I doing here? You're there because the video and the thumbnail actually invited you in, and that's what you want. So you don't want to put all this work and effort into quality, and your video is so perfect, and then the color grading is amazing, and then you have 3 angles, and you've put in so much work. But then the thumbnail is not calling to action, or the title is not calling to action. It's almost as if you've done nothing. So I agree with Vanessa, and I'd say start thinking of it like this, and I think it's going to help you a lot.
Michelle?
Yeah, so I agree with Dima and Vanessa. And also one thing I'd like to say is just, you don't need perfect equipment. You don't need that, $800 camera or lighting or fancy editing software. Just start with what you have. If you're using your phone, use your phone. Edit. Nowadays there are so many apps to edit with. When I started in 2017, I don't know which app I was using. I think either InShot, but it was just so frustrating. It was very frustrating, but you make it work. And as the years and the months go by, you'll be able to earn more revenue, probably monetize from your YouTube, use that money to reinvest back into your YouTube and save up, buy the equipment, buy the lighting, buy the cameras you may need. But for now, just don't stress yourself out too much. Use what you have and, create that consistency in your uploading, and you'll build up from there.
Naledi, then Amina.
Can you imagine if Rihanna did not start Fenty Beauty because there were so many other makeup lines in the world? Like, she was not even trying to understand. She was just like, I'm going to do this thing, and this is the reason I'm doing it. And that's just the way I go about in life. Do it, guys. Like, be fearless about it, be aggressive about it, run for your passions, keep that fire deep down inside of you burning. If YouTube is what you want to do, whatever type of content it is, just do it. Do not downplay yourself by saying, oh, there's so many other beauty YouTubers. Oh my word, there's so many other storytellers. Do it. Rihanna didn't stop, honey. There was other great foundations in the world. She did it. Now Fenty Beauty is one of the best. So you never know. Just trust the process. Trust yourself also. Try and block out all the noise and just listen to that voice deep down inside of you and what it is saying to you, and just focus on that. And also, one thing about people, they will laugh at you, they will look down on you, they will do all these things, they will talk about you, they will downgrade what you are doing in the beginning, but in the end they will definitely copy. So don't stop. In the beginning, so many people were laughing at me. Oh my word, what are you doing? Why are you doing this thing? No one from our hometown does this. And now everybody copies. Everyone wants to do it. Everyone starts off the YouTube intros same way that I do, and I've seen it, but I don't even look at it in a bad way. It makes me even more inspired. It's like, oh my word, I'm a light to someone else, you know, like you are inspiring someone else. You don't know what you're going to say that might change someone else's life. Whatever it is, that voice that's saying do it, please focus on that voice and just do it.
Okay, and I guess I'll end it with what I was going to say, which is probably the most common sort of statement I hear is, it's oversaturated, it's too late, you know, this, that. It's never too late. I've seen people jump on the platform, you know, last year and do amazingly. You know, myself, I've really grown in the past year, I would say, not even, you know, 4 years. So it's never too late, number one. You find your tribe. No matter how like weird and wonderful you think your thing is, there will be other people that are interested. There are millions of people that watch YouTube. There will definitely be, you know, a couple 100,000 people that are interested in what you are interested in, and from there you will grow, you will change. Your channel won't just stay as what you start off as. So definitely start. It's never ever too late to start a YouTube channel, for sure.
All right. Thank you all. This has been an amazing conversation. Thanks, Amina. Thanks, Dimma, Lady, Michelle, Vanessa. Thank you for sharing your gems and pearls of wisdom. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We've come to the end of the session. And just thank you to our sponsors for the World Festival, so Vista Bank and Oakwood Green, and of course YouTube Black for this particular session. Tomorrow we have 2 panels, mental health and sexual health, so make sure to tune in for that one. And again, thank you all so much. This was great. Don't forget to scan the QR code if you want to sign up for all YouTube Black events, newsletters, and opt into the community. But again, thank you all so much. It's a wrap.
There's this element that you might need to perform your culture and your identity just in order to stand out.
My whole career, I've been told to speak Kiswahili, and that's what's going to make me Kenyan. Learning to speak Kiswahili in Nairobi, is pretty difficult. So I haven't really gotten to that point, but I still would. I had a disdain for it before because I was like, that's not what makes you Kenyan. But now I'm like, it's actually a beautiful language. If I could ever put Kiswahili into my music, I'd want to do it authentically, but I'm not 100% sure that that's what would make me African. So I'm still figuring that out.